God, I'm so sorry I'm so late. Oh my God, I've been on literally my asexualise.com site. I've had so many problems with it, like you wouldn't believe. It's a nightmare. And I've literally been on the phone. I've just got in just before midnight to talk to you, like live. I need to pour myself some water. I've been on to my web host for over 2 hours. I was on my web host 2 hours before, so I spent over 4 hours on my talking to my web host today in total, just over 4 hours about my site. Because I had problems on it, major problems. Like someone decided to hack it earlier, which was ridiculous. And luckily it's only been like hacked for a few hours overnight. So, and my Asexualise Academy. Someone obviously, yeah, they even wrote their name in the hacker thing. But all the malicious files are cleaned up now. It's all working back. It's all back online because my web host automatically takes the sites offline if they're hacked. So people don't have any problems using the site because it literally goes off. So you can't access it. And I've got rid of all the files. They've done 2 scans. Everything's fine. But the site's really slow at the moment. So I had this guy trying to help me for ages. So yeah, I just spent another... So like literally today, nearly all I've done apart from going out is like talk about website stuff all the time. So I'm sorry if the asexualise.com site's running slow. I do apologise. I'm turning it into a shop at the moment. And, you know, these things happen. Anyway, this is Asexual Perspectives Awareness Month After Party. I'm going to say day 16 because I started it on day 16, even though it's probably already into day 17 now, but I started it on day 16. And I know I haven't put it in the title because I didn't have time, but I wanted to make sure that I literally got in this video and started it before midnight because I promised you, well, I didn't say the word promise, but you know, I gave you my word that I would do a video every single day and I didn't want to miss it. So like when I quickly typed that in, it was like 56 minutes past 11 at night. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I just literally got to go live because if I don't, I won't keep my word. But it's really not my fault because it's like I've been so busy. So emotional connection is everything, right? Emotional connection, everything. So in this video, that's what I wanted to talk to you about today. So this is Asexual Perspectives Awareness Month After Party. I started it on day 16, which is a Thursday. I'm still looking at my calendar. August the 16th, 2018. And yeah, I just really wanted to talk to you about emotional connection. So I'm going to take my sweatshirt off because I'm a bit hot. Like this top, which is my hoodie. Because I've been out today, so I've got my nice thing on. But look, this is cool. It's lovely and warm because I was cold earlier. This is one of my own designs. Everything's coming up Aces, so it's awesome. So yeah, excuse me for looking a bit of a ruffle tonight. So emotional connection is everything, right? So with asexuals, we love differently. We fall in love differently to other sexual orientations. You know, the sexual orientation basically. So heterosexuals, bisexuals, you know, homosexuals, pansexuals, you know, sexuals basically are different to asexuals in the way we fall in love. Not entirely different, but it can be different. So because we don't like, want or need the, you know, sex in general, I'm talking about asexuality is a lack of sexual attraction and or little to no interest in sexual activities. So in general, we don't get the need, urge or want for partnered sexual intercourse. That's what the lack of sexual attraction means. Obviously, the spectrum of asexuals is wide and, you know, there's a more sexual end of the asexual spectrum. But I'm talking about in general, right? And so therefore, when we don't love through, you know, we don't fall in love through the sex, as it were, because there's not that oomph, oh my god, I've got to have sex with you now type thing. We fall in love through emotional connection, and especially romantics probably more so. And that's how, you know, I would presume that aromantics, from what I know, would form strong friendships through that emotional connection. But in terms of romantics, we form that kind of romance and love feelings through emotional connection more than anything else. So in order for an asexual to be happy in an asexual style relationship, you know, a sexless relationship basically, then we need that emotional connection, and we need it sort of having it and maintaining it with both parties involved in order to keep us happy. So if you are asexual and say you're in a relationship with a sexual and you're sex repulsed, right, and you don't want sex, you know, and the heterosexual, for example, heterosexual could be bisexual, pansexual, homosexual. Say the sexual person says they can go without the sex, you still need your needs met, okay? So just because they've said they can go without sex, that's their choice, right? It doesn't mean to say that you still haven't got physical needs of your own and that you still haven't got emotional needs of your own, right? Okay, and these should obviously be discussed early on, because it's very important to know what each other's needs are in a potential relationship or relationship going forward, because if not, there'll be these constant conflicts of expectations and people letting each other down. So you really need to be upfront at the beginning and say this. I mean, asexuals tend to be more upfront, in my opinion, than sexuals on a lot of matters, especially, you know, what it's like on asexual dating sites. You just come out with what you really want and what you really need. And I think that's the way all relationships should be, because what is the point in getting with someone 5 months later and they can't match your needs? It just leads to heartache and heartbreak, you know. And even in my asexual perspectives awareness, but sorry, even in my asexual perspectives 47 asexual stories, love, life and sex, a celebration of asexual diversity book, that was that I read from last month, which was Asexual Perspectives Awareness Month. Even in that book, there's asexuals that talk about their physical needs are rarely met. Now, how this can become a problem is if you're in an asexual relationship that's very well matched, and say, like, for example, with me, I love kissing, right? So say I was with an asexual guy and I loved kissing the asexual guy, they loved kissing me back, right? Because there's no sex involved, you know, they're not having to hold themselves back because they don't need sex, then, you know, they can kiss as much as they want. There's no restrictions, right? There's no scariness about it because it's free, you know that person, if they're genuine asexual, is not going to need the sex or want to. You can kiss them as passionately if you want to, as much as possible, if they're the same sort of match. Obviously, I can't go around kissing an asexual that just likes one's pecks on the cheek or pecks on the lips. It's not, you know, it's not fair to them. I can't be in a relationship with someone like that. I need someone who'll kiss with the tongue, and I do need a certain amount of physical affection like that. You know, I need lots of kissing. And so if a person who, say, like me, is into kissing, you know, the person who's heterosexual, that can be really difficult. That's why relationships with sexuals have never worked with me in the past, because they need the sex at the end of the day. Like, I don't know if you saw my video a couple of days ago, I went to dance, right? And this heterosexual guy that I danced with, I wasn't even barely touching my hands. My hands were in his hands, right? And we were dancing mostly like he was doing this thing with my arms, which is quite weird. But like a monkey. Bless his heart. So it's a bit like this, right? And he was trying to bring me closer, but, you know, in the end, later on, I did hug him, but I said, that's all you're getting from me. I can't do any more. I don't want to kiss you, right? And it's kind of like, you know, he was outside and he took my hands and was starting to talk about relationship, and I was explaining about asexuality, and then I had all the intrusive questions like, so can I ask you, are you a virgin? I'm like, no, I'm not a virgin. And he's like, and I had sex in the past. My ex was good at sex in the past, actually. Okay? And he's like, oh, well, have you been abused? I said, that's not why I don't like sex. I said, my ex was actually quite soft and gentle in that respect. So no, it's not because of that. When did you choose to be asexual? I said, I didn't choose to be asexual. I found out that I was asexual in 2014. I was born asexual, but I didn't realise it. And then I was trying to explain it and go on, you know, all the questions. And then he was all like, oh, well, you can kiss and cuddle me. You know, because you said you're into kissing and cuddling. And I said, well, no, I can't. I don't even like the fact a guy wears a beard. I'm like, I can't kiss someone like that. It wasn't good looking for me. And he's, you know, he goes, oh, I don't want to push you because I know about things like rape and I don't want to do that. And to be honest, if someone who's kissing, you know, wants to kiss you and you don't want to kiss them back, that's pretty technically much mouth rape, you know, because they are forcing themselves to kiss you when you don't want it. So I made it perfectly clear that no, I really can't do that. No. You know, I don't know if you watched my video a long time ago that on the quayside, near where I live, I met up with this guy. and he wanted to kiss me, and I told him no, and 3 times he tried it, and he grabbed hold of my arms, grabbed hold of them, so I would do that with him, and I was like, no, and he didn't say sorry, and he didn't understand why I was upset, and next day goes, oh, have you are you still in a mood with me? It's like, what the heck? He shouldn't have been doing that. That is still a form of abuse, doing something against your will. So, this guy, I made it perfectly clear that I don't want to kiss him. I didn't feel aesthetic attraction for him. I didn't want to kiss him. He goes, oh, but women usually find me really sexy with a beard or really good looking. I'm like, well, I don't, I just don't. And you have to be careful. I didn't, I could handle him. He was fine. He was a little pussycat, really. He wasn't that bad. But, but when they start talking like that, you've got to be very careful that they don't obviously do stuff. But I made it perfectly clear, like, no, like, no. Do you know what I mean? But I just hate it, I told him, I said, I don't like sex, I don't want it, I don't need it. And then when I told him about all the asexual stuff I do, then he started to take me more seriously, like they usually do. And I'm lucky in the sense that I do promote asexuality. I do what I do and help loads of people across the globe. Because then, I've got sort of a really strong foundation of actually, God, this person's got a book out, this person's been educating people for 3 years, this person's online, they're completely for asexual stuff. They're probably quite well known in the asexual realm, and it kind of like shuts them up, if you know what I mean, because they can't argue with stuff I'm doing. If I design t-shirts for asexuals, they buy them. If I have a book, people buy it. Then obviously there's a market because people are actually asexual, And the stupid thing is, he goes, oh, I've heard about it, but I mean, had he really heard about it? He's probably talking rubbish. Oh, do you like my not Eeyore mug? Do you like my Disney mug? This is from Disneyland Paris last year. 25th anniversary. Love it. Anyway, so what I'm trying to say is, so he was heterosexual, right? So he, he's all about kissing, but I didn't want to kiss him, But what I'm trying to say is if you're an asexual, for example, like me, who loves kissing, then I need to be with other asexual who loves kissing just as much as I do, and who I know, without a shadow of doubt, is not gonna have sex with me. Now, this guy who's heterosexual, he was sat outside talking to me, and he said, I was turned on by you dancing, and I wasn't even barely touching him. Do you see what I mean? And I tend to like that. That's what tends to happen with me. For some reason, I tend to turn guys on just like that, like physically, like they want sex with me within 5 minutes. I even said this to him. I said, he goes, oh, it's a real shame. It's a real shame you're asexual, basically. I said, yeah, I love being asexual, though. I would never want to be a heterosexual. I told him I love being asexual, I told him I love being asexual, and I don't think he's, I said I adore it. I don't want to be heterosexual. I know some asexuals, they don't like being asexual. They hate it, or they can't come to terms with it, and they fight against it. I'm not like that at all. I think it's brilliant. I think it's pure love at its best. And I know that might sound a bit harsh on sexuals. And, of course they love, but we love in a completely different way. And, the emotional connection, you can go far deeper, in my opinion, with soul love, like love from the spirit and the heart and the soul, really deep love, than you can when a love is born on sexual attraction, but I know people would argue differently, but it's kind of like I've been in heterosexual relationships for half of my life, and I've never really had that deep soul mate connection ever in my past relationships. I probably thought I had or wanted to have, but I didn't have, and that's what I want. I want that deep soulmate connection that you only get from a deep, strong emotional bond. And the way you get that is not through, oh my God, I want to pull your pants off and have sex with you. The way you get that is by, by really getting to know a person, getting to know their personality, what they like, what they dislike, getting to know their needs, getting to work each other's needs into each other's lifestyle, getting to understand them on a fundamental level, at their heart and their core and their personality, not trying to change them as well, but loving them for who they are. This is like how you get it. And, some people don't understand how you get that emotional connection, but it requires a lot of talking openly and honestly, and especially with asexual, say, because a lot of asexual relationships, they start online, right? Because obviously it's really hard to meet asexuals in person. So the way an asexual relationship will start is if it's either be online, so like on online dating sites, in Facebook asexual groups, or it'll start a meetup offline, so an asexual meetup offline, and those are the two ways really that you're going to meet up, if that makes sense. So, you know, it's like like if you're not seeing each other, so say, excuse me a minute. Cough. I've been rushing around doing internet stuff today. My throat's really sore. I'm live on air. This is a nightmare. Now I'm going red as a blouse. Oh my gosh. My throat's really scratchy, sorry. So what I'm trying to say is, if, for example, you're not actually together in the relationship, right, you're apart, in order to maintain that emotional connection, you have to have a lot of communication. You have to have a lot of messaging, a lot of video chat, a lot of spending time with each other, Skyping. Do you see what I mean? Because otherwise, if that emotional connection is not maintained, then you might fall out of love, or you might feel that that person doesn't care about you anymore, that that person doesn't love you anymore, that that person's, you know, so just like a sexual feels like if you don't have sex with them, that you don't love them anymore if they don't understand asexuality. That's what a lot of sexuals think. You know, like an asexual would think, well, if they're not staying connected to me emotionally, one is it's really hard for me to love the person like that because I need that because that's the way I love. And two is you're feeling like something's not quite right in the relationship or potential relationship, if you see what I mean. So it's really important that if you are in an asexual relationship, you get that emotional connection, you maintain it. Now, obviously, even with the more sexual end of the spectrum, like the grey asexuals and demisexuals, they need a strong emotional bond to feel any sexual attraction whatsoever. Now, with the demisexuals, which can, you know, they can feel sexual attraction once a strong emotional bond has been formed. I was talking in my grey asexual and demisexual dating group the other day, and they confirmed it for me as well, that they have to have that bond maintained. This is a difference. People don't understand, like, oh, if someone's demisexual, they're sexual, you know? But true demisexuals, ones that are genuine and not just faking it because they're just sticking the label on because they want to grab onto asexuality and try and date us when they need sex. You know, for the genuine demisexuals, they have to have that strong emotional connection reciprocated, and they have to have it maintained and sustained. If they don't have that, the relationship falls apart. So, although I'm definitely not demisexual, I don't experience sexual attraction at all, I don't want sex at all, I still need the emotional bond to be maintained by both parties to be happy. You know, I could possibly still be emotionally attached to the person, but if the person's not giving me emotional attachment back, or caring about me emotionally, or connecting with me emotionally, and maintaining that in a healthy way, then I'm not going to be happy, and I'm just going to be thinking I'm better off staying single if I was in a relationship, or if I was heading for a potential relationship. Do you see what I mean? There's no point going down the rabbit hole, if you know what I mean. So I just wanted to say how important it is for emotional connections. Like with aromantic asexuals, those that don't experience romantic attraction or sexual attraction, I feel that a lot of their friendships are formed on strong emotional connections. But with romantics, it's different because we throw romance into the mix. With aromantics, they don't have that romance. So they don't have some of them don't have such a strong desire for relationships. Obviously, if they're grey romantic or demi-romantic, then they'll still need that emotional connection somewhat. But I think it's really important to know that a lot of aromantics, I think they thrive on emotional connections with their friend, like deep sort of bonds with their friends. And I think maybe some romantics tend to gear that towards one person with romantic emphasis more, whereas an aromantic tends to gear it towards more lots of people with no romantic interest but friends, if that makes sense. So really, emotional connection is everything for asexuals all across the spectrum, as far as I can see. It's like an essential ingredient. And if you don't have it and maintain it, then it can become really seriously upsetting or detrimental or not nice for you. So going back to the physical needs as well, like asexuals have different physical needs as well. Like some need kissing, some don't want kissing, some need hugging and cuddling, some don't want that, some want full on to strip down to nakedness, some don't. And so it's really hard to get an asexual match. So it's really important that, you know, that you discuss if you are entering in any sort of relationship, but obviously you need the emotional connection, but you also need to make sure that your physical needs are being met. Like, I need someone who'll kiss me lots, but without needing sex, which really, that means I need an asexual guy, because a sexual guy's going to find it hard, especially when that guy, I mean, I hadn't known him long and he was already telling me I'm turned on by you and wants, I'm like, yeah, guys want sex with me in the first 5 minutes of being with me. I don't, you know, I've had guys in the past that one particular guy that I texted, you know, and he was like getting turned on by me on the face. Go, oh, I've got to go and do whatever now to myself. I'm like, what? You know, and it's kind of like, crikey, do you know what I mean? Like, it's like I haven't even done anything. I've just been me. Like, some guys just look at my picture and get whatever over it. Like on Facebook, like when I just have my head and shoulders shot on there, I used to get so many guys messaging me. I'm like, well, I'm not doing anything sexual. This was before the asexual stuff. I just used to have like my picture on there, and you know, I still used to get guys interested in me. And I'm like, why? You know, all I've got is a head and shoulders shot on there. I'm not sexually provocative. I'm not showing hardly any flesh, just a head and shoulders shot. So why are these guys sexually attracted to me so quickly? You know what I mean? It's really weird. I used to get loads of them. I think I get a few less now, in the sense that I tell everyone straight away I'm asexual. It's so funny, like even on my page, like my Asexualise page a while ago, I got this private message and all the guy said to me was, hi babe, or something. I'm like, I'm asexual, not sexual. That means I don't experience sexual attraction. I don't want sex. We can still have phone sex, he said. I'm like, no, what part of I don't like sex do you not understand? And then he went away. You know, it's like, why do these people bother? You know, why do they bother? It's just ridiculous. And it's like, please go back to whence you came. I'm not interested. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed tonight's video. If you've got any questions, please leave them in the comments. I'd love to know what you think. Have you, if you're asexual watching this, do you need an emotional connection to have a relationship and sustain a relationship? You know, have you been in relationships before where your physical needs have not been met? Because, you know, like some sexuals, they'll hold back on kissing. Like if, for example, I was with a heterosexual, because I'm only interested in guys, you know, like in the past, like maybe some guys would hold back kissing me because they want the sex. If I don't give them the sex, it's like, well, you don't get the kisses. But that's not the type of relationship I want. And you have to know that you can get an asexual person. There's thousands around the globe. So even though you might not get the right one right now, there are still thousands across the globe. So that doesn't mean to say you can't get one. Like, you can get one. It just might take years. But it's better to wait for years of your life than end up with someone who's the wrong person for you. You know? You've got to make sure that person's right. If you've got a heterosexual saying they can live without sex, can they really? That's the big question you've got to ask yourself. And if they say they can, are they still going to satisfy your physical needs? Are they still going to kiss you lots without having sex? If you like touching, are they still going to touch you without the sex? If they saw you naked, I'm naked repulsed, so I don't want to be naked in front of a guy. But if they saw you naked, would they be okay with that? Or would they just be wanting sex all the time and then never kiss you? Like, obviously, because some asexuals, they're sensual. They need kissing on the neck. Some like it when they're completely naked. They like kissing all over the body. I don't like being naked. But do you know what I mean? I mean, if your physical needs as an asexual is like that, and say you had a sexual person that was interested in you, being in a relationship with you, can they handle that? Can they handle kissing you all over your body without the sex? How is that going to work for them? Are they going to relieve themselves through masturbation? Or what are they going to do? Do you see what I mean? It's kind of like you have to sort of think about all these things if you're the type of person who wants a relationship. So it's really important you discuss like these type of things up front, find out what you're both happy with, comfortable with, and it's really important that you have and maintain that emotional connection, because that is the foundation of everything. Friendship and emotional connection is the foundation of a really strong asexual relationship. You know, if you don't have that emotional connection, it isn't going to last because you don't have the sexual attraction. And, you know, I found out that a lot of people who are sexuals, they don't break up for the lack of sex. They break up because the emotional connection's gone or not there in the first place. And after all the sex is over, or whatever, the initial fantasy or initial thrill is worn off, or they end up, they can't physically have sex with each other for a while and they don't have that emotional bond. That's when they go and seek it from somewhere else. They go and, you know, a lot of the time when they have affairs, unless they experience sexual desire, if they experience sexual desire rather than sexual attraction, they just desire the sex from anyone, then it doesn't matter, they just go and get it. But if it's sexual attraction they experience rather than sexual desire, they are sexually attracted to people, it's the fact that they will go off with someone else if they haven't got that emotional connection with you, basically. So you need to have that and get it and maintain it. It's really, really important. And it's important that if you are entering a relationship with a sexual person, that they understand that. Because a lot of sexuals, they don't think that way. They don't think on the... Some of them may still form that strong, deep emotional bond with you, but they may not think it and understand consciously what that actually is. Do you see what I mean? They might not consciously think, I've got an emotional connection with this person. They might just feel that they have a connection with them. They might not realise it's a strong emotional connection. And they need to have that and maintain it in order to sustain you both having a good quality relationship. Because without that, if you haven't got emotional connection and say you're with a sexual and then you're not having sex, you've really got no connection with them. Do you see what I mean? There's no physical connection there unless you're into a lot of stuff, unless they can be without you, without sex, and you've still got the physical stuff going on. But, you know, you really need that emotional connection to stay connected and stay in love with each other and be happy with each other. So it's really, really important. Anyway, I've been talking now for nearly half an hour. I think if you've got any questions, you can post them down below and I will answer them in the meantime before now in the next video, or I will answer them in another video. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. I really appreciate all the thumbs up because it gets asexuality more recognised across the YouTube. And if you haven't already subscribed, please do hit that bell icon so you get notified as soon as I post new videos. So you can be wham, I'm on there like a shot. And yeah, until next time, embrace your quirky and each other's. I will see you on another video. And have a wonderful night. Bye. Have a great day. Have an ace day, I should say. Have an ace day.